I found these glasses again recently and I forgot that I had them. They were like lost. And by lost, I just mean out of sight because I have object permanence problems. They're navy blue and gold, and my hair is navy blue and my personality is gold, so they match. That was so cringy. Oh my god. Well, I'm back. It's February 24th. And there's only 28 days in this month. And I have not read the things that I thought I was going to read for the month. My next book club meeting is March 8th. The issue that I'm running into is this is our book club read for the month. And it's only like 412 pages. 415 pages. That's not bad. And I've heard nothing but good things about this. But I've put up a mental block. And I don't want to read it. So, not right now. It's not a book thing, it's a time thing. But I have to. Because I hold myself to my highest standard that I hold myself to is for the book club. Because I started it and I feel like I should be present for it as much as humanly possible. So, I've got to get through this. And I think this might just be a chatting video, like a shorter chat video, and then I'm gonna do a reading vlog for this whole week. I've seen some reading challenges. I made this channel, the Literary Collective channel, just for bookish things, and I think I followed like one cooking channel just by like, I guess reflex of like I saw a video and then I hit subscribe and realized I wasn't on my personal. But I've only followed bookish creators and that's kind of the goal. Ugh, my posture. Here I go with the millennial stuff. Anyway. Also, millennial stuff, I just got very suddenly and overwhelmingly back into scrunchies. I took a break when I turned 12, I guess, and now I'm 30 and I'm back. This is just a chatting video about some thoughts with reading, and then I'm gonna do a reading vlog for this whole week. Oh, right. So, I subscribe to only bookish channels and bookish creators, and I'm seeing a lot of different reading challenges, whether it's in a short form content or long form. Like I just watched a video yesterday of an Australian girl, I think, who was like reading 200 pages a day for a week. My brain won't do that, first of all. I'll get to like 60 pages in a day and then it's like, well, you've read enough for the day. And I don't know if it thinks that I'm on like a 75 hard or soft challenge, whatever that is. I know there's a reading aspect to it or a reading component of it, but I struggle to read that much in a day. However, I am currently only employed part-time. There's no better time than now to do it, I suppose. So I have to get this read by March 8th. It's February 24th, and I'm gonna start a reading vlog for the rest of this day. Like I'm gonna be reading this evening, and I'm gonna try to film some of it and just keep track of everything that I'm doing while reading, like pages read, any notes, whatever. But I went to my local bookstore, which is never a good thing to do because like I said, I'm only employed part-time and that means exactly what you think it means money-wise. I've been job hunting for over a year now in Chicago and it's been impossible so far, but fingers crossed something works out soon. So I went to my local bookstore, and Illinois is a blue state and Chicago is an asylum city, so they lean on the left side of things for the most part, and I lean on the far left side of things politically. So when I walked into my local bookstore, they had an entire section about democracy dying, and I ate that shit up. So I love Brittany Broski, and I love like she has her podcast. I love her in general, and she could shit in my hand and I would say thank you. I love that woman. I would follow her into battle and be mimicking her war cries until the enemy was dead. It's like, I love this woman. She has been reading like Orwellian literature, like literally all George Orwell. I read Fahrenheit 451 in late middle, early high school, and I think that I was far too young to absorb anything beyond Harry Potter and the Magic Tree House at that time. So I didn't grasp anything from it except like, oh, they burn books. But now that's a little closer to reality and I don't like it and I'm uncomfortable. So I got 1984 and Fahrenheit 451, which if I'm not crazy, yeah, they're both right here. Wait, yes, they're both right here on my TBR shelf. Fahrenheit 451 and 1984. They are on the top of the TBR shelf and they will be read very soon. Oh, those are not. Wow. Ray Bradbury. I'm so over this day. It's so stupid. Okay. Ray Bradbury wrote Fahrenheit 451 and 1984 was by George Orwell. But you knew that already, not me, obviously. Anyway, so there were a lot of like Orwell books put out in the store along with like so many other political writing. And that included Animal Farm in 1984 and Fahrenheit 451 and a bunch of other like Democracy Dying books. I went there specifically to get this because Brittany Broski was like, I've been reading George Orwell stuff. And then once I got through this writing, I wanted to read why he wrote. Like, I just want to know everything about the man that I can. And I was like, well, damn, a lot of his shit is on my fucking TBR for this year. This past year, I've gotten far more into politics than ever, and rightfully so. Like, I just came out of my 20s, and I'm now more involved and mentally aware of politics than I ever made time for in the past. And then I'm a leftist. So, yeah, I'm not for what's happening right now in any way, shape, or form, and it's scary and it's freaky and I think it's crazy. So I'm gonna lean toward like books that talk about it to learn more about it. So I picked up Why I Write by George Orwell and It Can't Happen Here by Sinclair Lewis, because it definitely can't happen here and it currently is happening, and it's super scary to think about what's gonna happen. Like, so much is happening every day and that shit's freaking me out. Like, it's at an unprecedented rate literally, and I can't really handle this anymore. So oh my god, I just opened this for the first time. The writing is so tiny. So for this book, the blurb says, the front says, political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. Accurate. But the back says, whether puncturing the lies of politicians, wittily dissecting the English character, or telling unpalatable truths about war, Orwell's timeless, uncompromising essays are more relevant, entertaining, and essential than ever in today's era of spin. So it's a quick little read. It's 120 pages. Excited for this. It's also really tiny. It's a good little like bag book because it takes up like no space. Sinclair Lewis, It Can't Happen Here. A cautionary tale about the fragility of democracy. It Can't Happen Here is an alarming, eerily timeless look at how fascism could take hold in America. Written during the Great Depression when the country was largely oblivious to Hitler's aggressions, it juxtaposes sharp political satire with the chillingly realistic rise of a president who becomes a dictator to save the nation from welfare cheats, sex, crime, and a liberal press. It's just exhausting to me that it's not fiction anymore. So, also this is my Kindle. I haven't been reading on it lately because I've been doing physical books, but I took it to bed with me last night so that I could like just kind of refresh it, update it, connect it back to Wi-Fi, and then just look around. And I remember falling asleep while I was doing that, like dozing off, and then I don't really remember anything specifically, but apparently I was looking at and purchased Quicksilver by Callie Hart. It's really popular right now. I've heard so many good things about it, so I'm excited to get into it. So I guess I'll add this to the currently reading. As if I needed more to read. So that was me realizing that I bought this in my sleep online. So I'm currently reading Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I'm about halfway through it, maybe a little past halfway. Probably exactly like right at halfway, but loving that. I'm really procrastinating on this book because I don't want it to end. And it's so good. And it's, when I tell you, it's so easy to read. Like, I can sit down with it and it's just like listening to someone that I absolutely love, or like reading a letter that the person I'm absolutely obsessed with wrote me. It's impossible to not like it. And I'm sad to finish it because I can never read it again for the first time. Moving on to like a writing thing, because I said I wanted to talk about like my writing journey here. I thought initially that I want to write something. Eventually, I want to write the story of my life, and I don't know if I want to make it a fictional tale where I give characters, like where I create characters to act as the people that took place in these things, because there was a lot of trauma in my past and some like fucked up shit in my past that is weird to talk about. Everyone's still alive. From my past, so I can't just like do biography and use my name and their names and all that good stuff. So I would need to veil it in some kind of way. But so I want to do that eventually. That might be a later in my life kind of project, but I have the urge to write and I don't know what. So initially I started out picking a subject like loneliness or suffering and just wanting to write what I thought of the concept of that emotion or that feeling or whatever. So I tried that, and then I wound up staring at a blank screen for an hour and suffering truly through the attempts of trying to say anything original. I've never had an original thought apparently, and everything that I write sounds like it's just some menial middle school chatter that means nothing. What could I possibly contribute to these topics books when they've been written about and talked about for so like all of humanity, like all of human existence. So what could I possibly offer? So then I thought I will read a book and then write like a critical essay on the book. And when I went into it, I was thinking like, okay, I'll pick a concept from the book, for like just for example. It's a great example for that situation, by the way. So I'll pick a concept from this book and I will write more on that concept and then use a lot of the writing to talk about how that concept related to this book and how well it was executed and things like that. And then once I got to looking for examples of those kinds of things to read, I realized that that's what I've been doing for all of my master's program, and I've just never called it that. And that's not what I'm interested in either. So I was thinking of the wrong name, I guess. And ultimately I have landed on book reviews, which are literally just adult book reports. And that sounds really boring, but I am really excited about it. So I need to finish something in this fucking year besides Hamnet to actually write about and try my hand at it. So my writing journey so far has just been writer's block, and that's super fun, you know? So anyway, in the process where I thought that I was wanting to write like critical essays about the novels that I was reading, I was like, I'm gonna just go grab like an anthology of essays. So I went to my local bookstore, found this, and it's like the best American essays of 2024. Haven't read a single one yet. Hadn't even opened the book, honestly. And now that I am, it's like, God bless. The writing is so small. Like there's so much in here, but it looks great. And I'm excited about it to just see what's in here. I'm never mad about having new like reading material that could be interesting. And that is Quicksilver is also something that I've heard about it on TikTok and seen people talking about it and how great it was. And then when it reached the threshold and crossed over into the Broski Report podcast with Brittany Broski, then I was just like, you know what? She and I are the same person, except her external monologue lives in my head most of the time. So I got this, and when I tell you, please keep in mind, I love literary fiction, but fantasy is my home. Fantasy is what I grew up reading. Fantasy is what I love reading. Fantasy is what I escape into. And the very first page, and I have a larger font set on this, not crazy big, but just a larger font, not the default font size. I'm 4% of the way into it when I got past the first page, which is like this much text on it because it's like the number 1, chapter 1, whatever, and then that much. By the end of that blip of text, I was like, this is gonna be incredible. It's giving me the feeling. I'm excited about that. So these two things will be read soon. By soon, I mean sometime this year, because I'm in the political reading mood. Oh, speaking of like the reading challenges and stuff that I have seen everywhere else, I have said that I want to read White Nights by Dostoyevsky, and I have the physical copy of it here, and it's tiny. I think it's like 50 pages, 51 pages, very thin. This is gonna be a full video by itself talking about it, like a tiny reading vlog, but I'm planning to take this, go to a cafe, and just sit and read the whole thing in a cafe. Like start it in the cafe, finish it in the cafe, and film the whole thing, and then come home probably and talk about it, or find somewhere in public to just sit and talk about it where it's like a little secluded. And then this, I know it's going to be good. I don't have a problem with the book or the writing. My brain is saying no right now, and that's dumb. So I'm gonna force myself to get into this. And I know once I get to like here, get this read under my belt, I'll be set. I'll be fine. I just have to do it. And I have to get off of TikTok and practice what I preach and put this down, pick this up, and make my life better. I just noticed on my shelf, my TBR shelf, I showed you the essay collection, Best American Essays of 2024, and then I have like a Best American Short Stories from the same series, Best American Short Stories, but it's 2022. So thank you for listening, and let me know in the comments if you are having similar issues where you want to read the book, but for some reason something in your brain is just stopping you. Whether it's intentional or it just is happening. It feels to me like clinical depression, which I have and I'm medicated for, so I'm not feeling the effects of it very often or very much, but I still have depressive episodes, and it like, you don't have any control over it. Like it just happens. Like it lies dormant back here, and then all of a sudden it pops up out of nowhere and it's like, actually I'm active today, and you're gonna be inactive as a result. So let me know if you have those issues too. I would love to hear it and know that I'm not alone in this. So I will see you in hopefully the end of the week, worst case scenario like Sunday afternoon, with another video that will be the reading vlog for the week and updating you on my progress. So by the end of the week, the date will be the 28th, which is the last day of the month. That'd be sick if I could get this all done, especially 1,000 Splendid Suns by Friday, and then edit Saturday and Sunday and then post Sunday. But if I could get this read, even though I would have another week after this week to get it read for book club meeting, then that would be great. But let's just see what happens. I'll see you Sunday probably. Love you, bye. What was that? Love you, bye.